Once upon a time, in a village known as Ikenga, there lived a great king named Igwe Ozede. Igwe Ozede was wise and kind, ruling his people with fairness and a gentle hand. The village of Ikenga was blessed with rich soil, so its farms always full of yams, corns, and cassava. The river that flowed beside it, called Miri Kinga, was clear and fresh, providing fish for everyone. The people of Ikenga were happy and lived in peace. Igwe Ozide had a son, Prince Dike, who was loved by everyone in the kingdom. Prince Dike was tall, handsome and strong, with a smile that could light up the darkest night. From a young age, he showed great wisdom and kindness, always helping those in need and treating everyone with respect. The prince had been sent abroad to study and learn about the world beyond Ikenga. The people of Ikenga missed him dearly, but they knew he would return one day to lead them. Many years passed, and the day finally came when Prince Dike returned to Ikenga. The news of his return spread like wildfire throughout the village. The drummers began to beat the talking drum, and the villagers came out of their homes singing songs of joy and praises. Women dressed in colorful Ankara and wrapper danced in the village square, while men blew oja, played ogene and performed their Tilogo dance. Children ran around laughing and playing, excited to see the prince they had heard so much about. When Prince Dike arrived at the palace, he was welcomed with open arms. Igwe Ozide embraced his son, tears of joy streaming down his face. "Welcome home, my son," the king said. "We have missed you so much." Prince Dike smiled and bowed. "Thank you, father. I have missed Ikenga and our people. I am glad to be back." The celebration lasted for days, with feast of jollof rice, pounded yam with egusi soup and roasted goat meat. There were performances of traditional dances, storytelling sessions by the elders, and wrestling matches for entertainment. But amidst all the joy and celebration, there was one person who watched from the shadows, a young homeless girl named Adamma. Adamma was an orphan who lived on the street of Ikenga since she was a child. Her parents had died in a mysterious illness, leaving her with no one to care for her. She wandered the village, begging for food and doing odd jobs to survive. Her clothes were worn and tattered, and her hair always tangled and dirty. But despite her hardship, Adamma had a kind heart and a gentle spirit. She often helped other beggars and shared the little food she had with them. As the celebration continued, Prince Dike decided to take a walk through the village. He wanted to see how things had changed since he had been away. As he walked through the busy market square, his eyes fell on Adamma, who was sitting by a mango tree, watching the festivities with a longing expression. Prince Dike was struck by the sadness in her eyes. He walked over to her and said, "Hello, young lady. Why do you sit here all alone?" Adamma looked up in surprise, not expecting the prince to speak to her. She quickly lowered her head and replied, "I am just resting, my prince. I have no family to celebrate with." The prince's heart ached for the girl. "No family? That is a sad thing indeed. What is your name?" "Adamma," she replied. Prince Dike nodded and handed her a piece of chin-chin he had brought from a vendor. "Here, take this. You should not go hungry." Adamma's eyes widened with gratitude as she took the chin-chin. "Thank you, my prince. You are very kind." From that day on, Prince Dike could not stop thinking about Adamma. He found himself wondering how she was doing, if she had had enough to eat, and if she was safe. Whenever he went out, he looked for her and always brought her something to eat or wear. Adamma in turn grew fond of the prince. She admired his kindness and generosity and was grateful for his friendship. The people of Ikenga soon noticed the prince's fondness of the homeless girl, and whispers began to spread throughout the village. Some people were pleased, saying it showed the prince's kind heart, but others were worried. How can a prince fall in love with a homeless girl? They would murmur. She has no family, no lineage. There is no fit, she's not fit to be a queen. But Prince Dike did not care about the gossip. The more time he spent with Adamma, the more he admired her strength and resilience. She was wise beyond her years, and despite all she had been through, she always wore a smile on her face. One evening, as the sun was setting and casting a golden glow over the village, Prince Dike took Adamma for a walk by the river. They sat by the water's edge, watching the fishes swim in the clear water and listening to the birds singing in the trees. Adamma, the prince said, turning to her, I have something to ask you. Adamma looked at him curiously. Yes, my prince. I have come to realize that I care for you deeply, he said, more than I have ever cared for anyone. I do not care that you are homeless or that you have no family. I want you to be my wife. Adamma gasped. Your wife? But I am a poor orphan girl. How can I be a queen? You have a heart of gold, Adamma, the prince replied, and that is what truly matters. Will you marry me? Tears welled up in Adamma's eyes as she nodded. Yes, my prince, I will marry you. News of the prince's proposal quickly spread throughout Ikenga. Some people were happy for the prince and Adamma, but others were angry. They did not believe that a homeless girl was worthy of being their queen. The king, Igozide, was troubled by the news. He called Prince Dike to his chambers and said, My son, I have heard about your proposal to this girl, Adamma. I know you have a kind heart, but you must think of the kingdom. A queen must have a noble background. She must come from a good family. But father, Prince Dike replied, Adamma is noble in her heart. She has faced many hardships, and yet she remains kind and gentle. I believe she will make a great queen. The king sighed. Very well then, but before she can become queen, she must prove herself worthy. There's a test that she must pass, a test that will show if she is truly fit to be the queen of Ikenga. The next day, the king announced the test to the entire village. Adamma was to go into the forbidden forest, a dark and mysterious place that was said to be home to powerful spirits and dangerous creatures. She was to bring back a golden feather from the giant eagle that lives at the top of the tallest tree in the forest. The villagers gasped. No one had ever ventured into the forbidden forest and returned. The forest was said to be cursed, and those who entered never came out again. Adamma was frightened, but she knew she had to prove herself worthy of the prince's love. She gathered her courage and set off for the forest, with the whole village watching her go. The forest was dark and eerie, with trees so tall they seemed to touch the sky. Strange noises echoed through the trees, and shadows moved in the corners of her eyes. But Adamma pressed on, determined to find the golden feather. As she walked deeper into the forest, she came across a talking tortoise named Nnambe. Nnambe was wise and had lived in the forest for many years. He saw Adamma and said, Young girl, why do you wander in this dangerous place? Adamma bowed respectfully and said, I am on a quest to find the golden feather of the giant eagle. I must prove myself worthy to be the prince's bride. Nnambe nodded thoughtfully. I see. You are brave to come here, but journey to the top of the tallest tree is not easy. You will face many challenges. I am ready, Adamma replied firmly. Nnambe smiled. Very well then, I will help you. Follow me. He led Adamma through the forest, showed her the safest path and warning her of the dangers that lay ahead. They crossed a river full of crocodiles, climbed a mountain covered in sharp rocks and finally reached the tallest tree in the forest. At the top of the tree, perched on a nest of branches, was a giant eagle. Its feathers shone like gold in the sunlight, and its eyes were sharp and fierce. Adamma knew she had to be careful. She waited until the eagle flew off to hunt, then quickly climbed up the tree and plucked a single golden feather from the nest. Just as she was about to climb down, the eagle returned, screeching in anger. Adamma's heart pounded in her chest as the eagle swooped down towards her, but she remembered Nnambe's advice and stayed calm. She reached into her pocket and pulled out a small piece of bread she had saved from the prince. She held it out to the eagle, who hesitated for a moment, then took the bread and flew away, leaving Adamma unharmed. Adamma quickly climbed down the tree and ran back through the forest, with Nnambe guiding her. When she finally emerged from the forest, the people of Ikenga cheered. She had done what no one else had ever dared to do. She presented the golden feather to the king, who was greatly impressed. "You have shown great courage and wisdom, Adamma," he said. "You have proven yourself worthy to be the queen of Ikenga." Prince Dike beamed with pride as he took Adamma's hand. "I knew you could do it," he said. And so Prince Dike and Adamma were married in a grand ceremony that lasted for 7 days and 7 nights. The whole kingdom rejoiced, and even those who had doubted Adamma came to see her as their true queen. She ruled beside Prince Dike with kindness and wisdom, and together they made Ikenga a prosperous and happy kingdom. Thank you for listening to this story. Please do well to subscribe to this channel